Hi, I'm Kevin Ford of the STS-128 crew. You're watching NASA TV.
Morning to you today, Tim.
Good morning, Shannon. It's indeed a beautiful day, and it's also my father-in-law's birthday, so we're happy to be here on Discovery.
And we're happy that you're on Discovery also, Tim.
Houston, Discovery for ACO.
Discovery Houston. Go ahead, CJ.
Crew of STS-128 on the Space Shuttle Discovery salutes the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines serving all over the world. And we have a special greeting here today from Colonel Tim Copra, United States Army.
And we understand that Robert Carroll has completed his last day on Orbit 3 for ACO, and will be deploying with the Army with the 72nd Brigade Combat Team, Charlie Troop, 1st Squadron, 112th Cavalry Regiment. And we wanted to wish him the absolute best, and we know that he's going to do a great job, and we're very proud of him for serving his country.
And Discovery, CJ and Tim, thank you very much for those outstanding and kind words.
Discovery Houston on the big loop. You are go for undocking.
Copy, Houston. Go for undocking.
Houston AM station from Discovery. Physical separation. Copies.
Undocking confirmed. Discovery weighs anchor from the International Space Station on the first leg of its journey home to planet Earth. This view of the International Space Station from Discovery through the S-band communication system, the sequential still video that refreshes itself every few seconds, showing the view from a centerline camera in the orbiter docking system with Discovery 246 feet in front of the orbital outpost. And just poking its nose from behind one of the radiators on the International Space Station is the shuttle Discovery, almost at a point 655 feet behind the International Space Station. In the upper left-hand corner of your screen is the Soyuz vehicle, one of the Soyuz spacecraft docked to the Russian segment of the International Space Station, and a good view of Discovery as Kevin Ford continues his radial fly-around of the complex. On the right side of your screen, the Zvezda service module, docked to the aft of Zvezda, the Progress 34 cargo craft. Nestled back into the rear of the cargo bay of Discovery, the Leonardo multipurpose logistics module that was filled with 2.5 tons of items no longer needed on the International Space Station after delivering almost 9 tons of science racks, assembly hardware, and other supplies for the Expedition 20 crew. Discovery now passing directly behind the International Space Station, about to begin a transit to a point 630 feet directly below the station. The propulsion officer here in Mission Control reports that Kevin Ford is right on his marks in terms of propellant usage. Discovery and the International Space Station approaching the west coast of South America, soon to cross directly over La Paz, Bolivia. Altitude 223 statute miles, Discovery 644 feet away from the station.
Discovery Houston on air to ground 2, FYI, the station's maneuvering to the TEA attitude.
Okay, we copy, Houston. Thanks. We'll let Kevin know.
With a palette of puffy clouds providing a backdrop, shuttle Discovery 652 feet below the International Space Station as the two craft approach the west coast of South America. You can see a good view here of the orbiter boom sensor system, the 50-foot-long boom extension mated to the shuttle's robotic arm. That will come into play a few hours from now when Kevin Ford, Pat Forrester, and Jose Hernandez work the procedures for the so-called late inspection of the reinforced carbon-carbon on the leading edges of Discovery's wings and its nose cap. This late inspection providing one final set of imagery through the laser systems and the cameras on the end of the orbiter boom sensor system for the imagery experts to provide to the mission management team for final clearance of Discovery's heat protection shield for entry and landing back at the Kennedy Space Center on Thursday evening. Great view of Discovery from cameras on the International Space Station as the two craft fly 223 miles over the Amazon jungle.
Houston Station on the Big Loop. Those were great views of that magnificent spaceship that just flew under us. We were all glued to the windows.
And Mike, we've been watching great views.
Nearing an orbital sunset over the Atlantic Ocean, Discovery about to disappear behind the large Japanese segment of the International Space Station, the Kibo Science Lab. .6 minutes away from the first separation burn, the first of two to be conducted by Kevin Ford, the rendezvous officer here in Mission Control. Reports that Kevin Ford has executed a textbook fly-around of the International Space Station. Absolutely no issues associated with the loss of the vernier jets and the revised procedures that Ford has been executing since the undocking 1 hour 9 minutes ago.
Discovery on the Big Loop. In about 10 more degrees, we're going to go to 8 Bravo, and Kevin's going to give you the SEP-1 burn.
Discovery, Houston, copies, and we concur.
Station Houston on Space to Ground 2.
Go ahead on 2.
Yeah, Mike, for you and the rest of the crew up there, the Orbit 1 team is about to complete its handover, and with that, the 17A ISS team officially ends its support. It's been a privilege to have worked with you and the shuttle crew this last week and a half, and we very much wish you well as your increment continues.
You guys so much for the great support, and obviously this was all about coordination and teamwork, and the fact that we pulled this off so flawlessly, I think, is a testament to you guys' support. So thank you so much. It's always been a pleasure to work with you, and we look forward to hopefully working together again someday.
Absolutely.
Station Discovery on the big loop.
Discovery Station, go ahead on the big loop.
From the crew of STS-128 on the 17A assembly mission, we'd like to extend our thanks to the Expedition 20 crew for all their great support and assistance during the docked mission. Thanks especially to Gennady, Mike, Nicole, Roman, Bob, and Frank for all your great work.
Well, CJ, thanks so much to you and the whole STS-128 crew, and thanks to Heather Eric and all the ground team that successfully brought the good ship Discovery to us. We're pretty fat with supplies now, thanks to you, and we're in better shape to carry on the work that we're up here to do. You guys have a safe trip home, Discovery, and it was great hosting you.
Thanks a lot, Mike. In about 10 minutes, Kevin's going to do the SEP-2 burn, and we'll be out of here.
All right, you guys. Godspeed you on your way home.
Thank you very much, Commander, for the great and warm words in our address. And have a safe trip and have a safe landing, CJ.
Thank you, Commander. Very good to work with you, Gennady.
We're looking forward to seeing you on Earth.
Roger.
At the aft flight deck of Discovery, things are beginning to gear up for the next several hours of late inspection, which always occurs after a shuttle undocking. One final opportunity to scan with the orbiter boom sensor system laser packages the reinforced carbon-carbon on the leading edge of the shuttle's wings and its nose cap. We'll be starting off with a survey of the starboard wing. That will be controlled on the alternating handoff between Kevin Ford, Pat Forrester, and Jose Hernandez, who will take turns operating the robotic arm that is grappled to the 50-foot-long boom extension, the OBSS, as it is called. Taking one more portrait of the heat shield of Discovery for analysis on the ground and for reports back to the mission management team tomorrow. This is a duplicate, essentially, of what occurred on the day after Discovery's launch, when the boom was used to scan the wings and the nose cap. Basically, one more opportunity for data collection to ensure that Discovery's heat shield has not incurred any damage during the time that the orbiter was docked to the International Space Station. Once this survey is complete, the orbiter boom sensor system will be berthed back onto the starboard sill of the cargo bay of Discovery, its job having been completed for this mission.
Okay, Houston Discovery, welcome to our Flight Day 12 highlights. Here's Tim Koper, our new STS-128 crew member, and he's showing off his Russian shaving kit. This is a really neat kit. It's got a lot of good gear in it, and we were very impressed. On the middeck this morning, we had a specialty of our crew is these breakfast burritos made by Daniel Levis and Jose Hernandez, and they've got a real system down there. You can see they use onboard shuttle foods in a special way. We do fly some tortillas for this purpose. They've also got salsa, cheese, and sausage and eggs. You can see it's a little tricky in zero-G, floating all the ingredients into the tortilla, but it's a lot of, oh, that is a smiley face. I see that one now. Danny made a smiley face. Anyway, then we put the eggs on there and eat them. It's, if you're not careful, the eggs will float all over the middeck, so a little precision is required.
You can see us carefully placing the eggs inside the burrito. In the morning, Danny and I took the crew's order and and then we started preparing them accordingly. We had a guest chef on board, and that was Tim Copra, who helped us out assembling the burritos, as you can see. Danny is an expert in zero-G burrito making. And Tim Corpa decided to taste the very first one, and he gave us his honest opinion, and obviously it looks like he enjoyed it.
And it's time for undocking. We are prepared. The system is set up, and it's basically only to count down to the undocking moment when it has been copied exactly to the second when it should happen. Excitement is building up. And here push. And hook lights went off. The screw starts to turn and undo the hooks. And about 2 minutes later, we are off the station. And we're also taking measurements. You can see here on the right side how Jose is using a laser to record both the distance and the speed which we are drifting away from the station window, flying away. Kevin, our pilot, is flying the Discovery while you go away.
All right, well, an interesting thing is that all those simulations we did over the course of the last year at the Johnson Space Center have prepared us well for today. And one thing different, though, is I had a lot more company for the actual fly around on the flight deck today than I had during all the simulations. Everybody wanted to be up there and see the space station, and it is very distracting. It's tempting to be just enjoying the view. It's just spectacular as we fly away from it and move out to the range of 650 feet to do the fly around. A lot of coordination going on, a lot of measurements being taken, and the digital autopilot flies the attitude for us, and we just try to match the rates with it as we fly around the space station and keep up with it. Many hours of practice at home with our instructors really paid off today. We were really happy with the way the fly around went, and nice safe separation, and hopefully we got some good images to send home to everybody to see what the International Space Station is all about. It's just really spectacular.
Kevin mentioned he had a lot of company up on the flight deck today, but believe it or not, most everyone up there has a purpose. We do photo documentation of the station, most of it required, and those photos will be taken back and analyzed. Crystal was working the APDS system, and that's why he pushed the button for undocking. CJ and I had the procedures up front, just making sure everyone stayed on the timeline. We did have some inputs to make into the computer system. Here's some of the first views coming that we would have as we backed away. We ended up going back about 650 feet before we began the complete fly around of the station and the separation. It's just pictures don't capture what it's like when you look out the window. We do our best, but it's one of those things that you almost have to see to believe.
As you fly around the International Space Station, you can see here the profile that Kevin Ford flew. Is almost a completely perfect fly around, as you see represented there in the computer system. But as you fly away from space station, you really marvel at the fact that we have this engineering wonder hovering above the surface of the Earth 200 miles, and it just is really unbelievable. Once we got far enough away from the space station, we began to get ready for our inspection, a late inspection. Basically, we pull out the robotic arm and the boom system with the sensor package on the end, and to do a final inspection, make sure that the ship is ready to come to the atmosphere and come home.
So there was a lot of hard work today and some very spectacular views. All of us were very excited to see us fly away from space station and see, as Danny put it, just a technological marvel, and represents the cooperation of many countries and groups to make that happen. We ended the day with a little bit of levity and fun, playing with some water and just demonstrating what you can do in zero gravity. Here you see Daniel leave us squirting out some water from a drink bag, and we're putting a lifesaver in the center. We're going to make a space eyeball. This one turned out pretty well, and you know, it's one of the skills that all astronauts have, being able to play with water and play with food. Going in for the kill. We thank everybody for their great support on this mission, and on behalf of the STS-128 crew, we wish you a good night.